Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as we discuss the Gemini New Moon occurring on June 14th at 10:55 p.m. Eastern Time. So keep in mind this new moon might be on June 15th for you, depending on your time zone. Every new moon is when the sun and the moon align at the same degree and minute point. And this is occurring at 24 degrees of Gemini, 3 minutes in your chart. So you want to identify where you have 24 degrees of Gemini by house placement. And it's that house placement that signifies where a new beginning is occurring for you in your communications, self-expression, mindset, daily world, and even perhaps energizing you into making some new decisions. And that is one of the strong themes here with a Gemini new moon. And before I started recording this, the message I kept receiving was clear the mind. Clear the mind of what has been very busy, where you've been overthinking, over processing. You could reach a point of having mental fatigue or decision-making fatigue that the Gemini new moon wants to clear out for you, wants you to see what is essential, what is important, what are the details, facts, and specifics that you can work with, and how can you be more mindful in your overall habits and basically rein in the power of the mental energy so that it isn't taking over or becoming too much. So yes, this is a mental reset. And when we do that, there is an opportunity here to quiet the mind and allow the busyness to settle. And that's what I'm feeling too, is that the mind can be highly active during Gemini season, which is the energy signature. We're meant to be more awake in our thoughts, more curious, more aware of what is swirling around us and determining, is this what I want to focus on? Is this worth my time? And so there is a reset here in the Gemini energies of making sure that you're responsibly managing all of the mental activity that is happening. And you may feel drawn to a calming practice that moves the energy of the mind into the body, and doing something with movement that takes the energy out of the mind's intentions to figure something out and allows you to access even more of your energy field that can also provide you with information, insights, and useful data to understand what is important at this time. So this can be that refocusing energy, that desire to clear out and get rid of anything that is too distracting, too restless, anything that keeps pulling on your sleeve and pulling you away from what you do want to think about and develop. The new moon is a time of seeding these intentions. And this particular new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini is in a sextile to Chiron at 29 degrees of Aries, 48 minutes. It's a 5-degree orb. So that means the sun and the moon are going to move forward after the new moon and stay in a sextile with this Chiron until Cancer season begins. And so there's going to be something that starts here that you're continuing to personalize, trust, and instinctually follow, as it may be offering you some form of healing medicine. Chiron is completing its journey in Aries, reaching this 29-degree point for the first time before entering into Taurus on June 19th. And so there's something important about the 5 days after this Gemini new moon. Because not only is it when the sun moves into Cancer, but Chiron also moves into Taurus. And what I'm feeling here is that you're going to be receiving new insights into your own healing story and journey that you're seeing for the first time because of the full process you've been through. So this would be those final aha understandings of what the soul has been guiding you through. And it's interesting because I feel like this Chiron is really significant during this new moon. And the energy is from a place of personal expertise and a sense of what you know is true for you that you've been healing and working through. And it then starts to send messages back to the planets in Gemini to formulate a new story. A new narrative is becoming clearer that is a big part of the Gemini new moon. So the Gemini energy is not only about mind, ideas, communications, what you do in a day, your travel, your everyday world. This includes the people you interact with regularly. When you grow up, Gemini is your siblings. It's your roommates. It's people you share space with often. It's the energy of who you talk to, who you text message with, send those voice memos to. It's your daily interactions with people. And there could be something changing in your priorities, in your daily priorities around what you have time for, where you want to direct your communications and ideas, who you share it with, how you share it. And I feel like there's a refinement here that this Chiron in Aries is bringing to your attention. And the refinement is interesting because I'm feeling it in the voice. So in the written expressions, yes, but something in the voice is changing because of what you've been healing. And the voice could certainly be tone of voice and how you speak, word choice, what you express, ideas, even an elevation in your personal expression that integrates more wisdom from Chiron. So sharing your story, speaking a truth, being more vulnerable or open is highlighted here. And again, there's something about the 5 days after this new moon that the energy continues to develop. And you might even be surprised at something you say, write, share, or express. It has the energy of, I haven't shared this before, but this is what's on my mind. So truthful communications could be developing and growing. Letting down one's guard would also be a theme here. So I'm just feeling a lot of energy between this sextile because of the fact that it goes into the next ingresses, where the sun moves into Cancer on the solstice, right as this Chiron moves into Taurus on June 19th. And then they're still traveling together as Cancer season begins, because the sun will enter Cancer and remain in a sextile to Chiron in Taurus. So this is important to note here, not only for the Gemini new moon, but for the week after, and as we cross the threshold through the solstice into Cancer season, and we begin a new healing focus as Chiron moves into Taurus. So in addition to these two areas of the chart being strong, we also want to look at the ruling planet of Gemini, which is Mercury. And Mercury is here at 18 degrees of Cancer, officially in retrograde territory. This Mercury is going to remain in Cancer until August 9th because of the upcoming retrograde that begins on June 29th at 26 degrees of Cancer, where Jupiter is. The retrograde will be happening from 26 degrees of Cancer back to 16 degrees of Cancer. And so this Mercury is in the emotional depths of Cancer, swimming through your thoughts, feelings, what you need, what your understanding holds emotional weight for you, learning to understand it, to hear the messages, and to understand what it means. And so this is going to be a prolonged journey of this Mercury connecting to the messages of Cancer, which are soft whispers, intuitive feelings, a very personal understanding of what you're sensing and what you need, and learning to give it voice, learning to trust it. There is an opening here into vulnerability, sensitivities, understanding what resides beneath the surface that is a part of your unconscious programming that Mercury is now looking to figure out. And this can be a difficult connection here for Mercury because Mercury is strong in the air signs and Mercury is now in the pool, the emotional pool of Cancer for a long extended swim. And there could be a sense here that you don't know how to put it all into words, or you're looking for a specific way to express something, but the Cancer energy just wants it to be honest, true, and perhaps even messy. And so this is going to be an interesting personal deep dive for Mercury. And you're going to get to the heart of a personal truth and feelings that you've already been exploring because this Jupiter also was in retrograde during this or in this same area of your chart. So if you'll recall, back in November, Jupiter stationed retrograde at 25 degrees of Cancer, traveled back to 15 degrees of Cancer until the beginning of March. It was a 4-month retrograde. Well, now this Mercury is covering the same territory in your chart. And this is a more personal look and understanding of what you've already been moving through since basically late last year. And so you could find that you're still processing some things that the Cancer energy isn't over or complete with. And this Mercury in Cancer goes into memories, recalls, emotional imprints, childhood experiences. It takes you into former experiences and timelines that you're still emotionally reviewing and moving through. Mercury is traveling behind Jupiter. Jupiter is a protective force field here. And there could even be a sense that you're moving with protection from your ancestors, from some big feminine energies in Cancer, perhaps from even, you're moving with protective, benevolent influences that are guiding you into new wisdom and working with your emotional body. And so there is again, a protective force field here that is supporting Mercury in getting to the heart of something that maybe you have felt afraid to feel, afraid to look at, afraid to understand. But this Jupiter is saying there's good stuff here. There's going to be wisdom and growth and some breakthroughs that are expansive. I'm seeing the breakthroughs as breaking down any kinds of defensiveness, empathy extremes, or hypersensitivity, which are some of the overactive expressions of Cancer. And so there could be a sense here of I can feel safe in myself, in my needs, in my personal energy field. I can feel safe in my emotional body. And that's good enough. That's what it needs to be. And that could be a release valve of letting go of whatever this weight is. This is water weight. This is emotional weight. This is a burden from the past. Anything that has been unhealed is coming forward too. And Jupiter has been guiding you through that work and that understanding. And I'm feeling like there could even be an elevation in your emotional well-being as you embrace what you truly feel and what is rising to the surface that is now becoming conscious and healed. This Jupiter is still in, or again in a square to Chiron. They were in a square the last few months of 2025 and into 2026. And so there's a completing phase here to a personal, emotional pain or imprint. As I mentioned, this Chiron moves into Taurus June 19th. And then about 10 days later, June 29th, June 30th, this Jupiter moves into Leo, and they will be exact again in a square in new signs at a 0 degree point, which is a 0 degree point reset. But there's something here that is still healing and basically being cleared out. And I feel that as this Jupiter moves forward into the final degrees of Cancer, I'm getting the visual of wringing out the towel, wringing out the excess, removing what you've been experiencing through this emotional transit. It's interesting because it feels like it's been bigger than expected or anticipated. That's also how Jupiter works. I mean, Jupiter is going to amplify what you really feel. So when you really feel truly peaceful and happy, Jupiter amplifies that. But if you're really feeling underneath the surface that something is unfinished and unresolved, Jupiter's going to amplify that as well. So Jupiter will show you what you really feel and make it so big that you see it and you feel it. And the gift there is in your free will choices of what you're learning from it and how you grow forward. So again, it's interesting how we come back to the significance of this Chiron during the Gemini new moon. Now with this Mercury at 18 degrees of Cancer, this energy is receiving a steadiness here from a sextile from this Mars at 20 degrees of Taurus, an earth sign, stable, reliable, concrete, dedicated, determined, providing a foundational base to the emotions that are being processed and what you're thinking about. And this is a Mars in Taurus that wants you to keep it simple. What is real? What is true? What can you work with and move forward with that will serve you? So it brings it down to brass tacks here, and it gives you a grounding force of, again, what is worth your time and energy, especially Mars, which is the physical assertion and how we move in our lives. So what is worth your energy now? And it's stabilizing both the Mercury and Jupiter in Cancer influences. This Mars is also the only earth sign in the chart. but he can handle it. This is a builder. This is a powerful energy for Mars. Even though Mars is very slow in Taurus, it's slow and steady wins the race. So stay on track here. Stay on track. Keep going. See it through. Get the job done. And this can also be a part of the energy you feel with the new moon that has that mental reset of what is really worth your time and your mental focus. Mercury in Cancer is also moving away from that exact square to this Saturn at 13 degrees of Aries. And so there could have been something halted or stopped that felt personal to this Mercury in Cancer, as Saturn would have provided a boundary or even a denial. But this Saturn is about time and timing. So it wasn't the right time. Something just wasn't ready to be shared, stated, or expressed. And then the energy going to this Mars and Taurus says, keep going, stay the course, stay true to what you're building and to what you're doing, and work with the timing, not against it. Also interesting in this new moon is that Mercury and the moon are in mutual reception, which means they're in each other's ruling sign. So this moon in Gemini, Gemini is ruled by Mercury in Cancer, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So this is going to help you be more adaptable and flexible in what you are choosing, in what you're understanding is worth your energy and your time. And this can also help with trusting what feels right for you. That can, again, calm the overthinking and over-processing. Because the Gemini energy is going to ask a lot of questions. It can also be duplicitous, of saying one thing to one person and something else, another story to another person. That's the energy of never stop talking, always be saying something. And this is going to help quiet that and tune into the heart and tune into, well, what feels right? And I don't think you'll miss it with this particular energy signature. You'll know what feels right. So these are all the energies of our immediate environment here with the personal planets. Sun, Moon, Mercury, we talked about Mars. And then we bring into the picture Venus. Now Venus is also a personal planet, but now that she's in Leo, oh boy, she's got a journey here that is actually setting the stage for what's to come in July, because she's the first planet to move ahead here in Leo. And so she's interacting with the 3 outer planets that are going to be also highlighted in July. So Venus, now at 1 degree Leo, 56 minutes, almost 2 degrees of Leo, is starting an important conversation with a sextile to this Uranus in Gemini. This is very excitable energy, very active, very busy, perhaps showing a new way of expressing oneself, bringing in something wild and exciting that gives more fire to that Venus in Leo flame. She then is also in a trine to this Neptune at 4 degrees of Aries. And this 4 degrees is important because it's where the planets are all going to be lining up in July at 4 degrees. Neptune is the first one here. This is your higher self, is giving you an understanding, heads up, and intuitive messages of what's to come. You could be seeing things through your third eye chakra that's like, okay, that's coming on the path. I see it aligning on the horizon. It's showing up, it's coming through. And this Neptune is trining Venus, giving her a powerful sense of self in what she's receiving, to be confident, to be strong, to be true to herself, and to also be connected to her heart, to come from the heart space in what is being, it's like it's being both ignited and amplified. And because this is happening in the fire signs, there is inspiration, growth, and excitement here in the mix. And so after she has this trine to Neptune in Aries, where she is feeling aligned with her own higher timeline potentials, she has an opposition to this Pluto at 5 degrees of Aquarius retrograde. And this Pluto is going back into 4 degrees and will be exactly sextiling Neptune. And then also this Uranus is moving to 4 degrees in July and will also be in the mix here, as these are the 3 outer planets that will all be at 4 degrees in these signs. And then they will also then interact with Jupiter, which will be at 4 degrees of Leo in July. But before we get there, here in the middle of June, this Venus is going to be opposing Pluto at 5 degrees of Aquarius a few days after this new moon. And Pluto is saying there's parts of your old self that can't go forward. And this can feel like an ego death to old patterns, habits, or areas of self-expression that are not meant to be energized in your future. They're not meant to be taken forward. And so it's interesting how much is transforming for this Venus in Leo as she's getting new understandings of what she can do mentally, verbally, how she can share her gifts more visibly. That's the Leo energy. How she is trusting a new journey and new openings that align with more of her true self. But she's also being made aware that anything unhealthy, outdated, or even too small is not going to pass through this threshold. Venus relates to finances, money, what you own and possess, what you invest in, what you create. This is a Venus who is undergoing a powerful change in her value systems. This can show up as a renovation of self, whether that's a renovation in who you are, your appearance, your style, your hair, the colors you wear, the clothes you select, how you present yourself. This can also be a change, a renovation, almost a forced renovation in what you create, in what you direct energy towards, because there could be something that's shut down. There could be a collapse here that the universe is saying that doesn't go any further. And that can certainly feel like an ego death here. We are working with the fixed signs, which like to stay true to what they want. And so there could even be a test of willpower where you're clutching onto something. You're like, I have to have it. I have to keep it. This is mine. I want this. This defines me. And Pluto says, not anymore. It doesn't define you in the future you're moving into and in the new developments that are underway. So this can be a release of possessions. This can affect your finances, your money. There could be something here that you're ready to sell, a bigger investment. This would be something significant. And this could be something, again, that you're struggling with it. There's always a struggle with a Pluto opposition. It's a power struggle. Can I let go of this? And in the fixed signs, they say, I don't want to. But Pluto says, you will. There are bigger forces at play here. And so this Venus, during this new moon, she first feels the excitable ideas and new directions from Uranus. Then she feels some truly insightful downloads from her higher self, from Neptune. And then that's going to lead her to making choice points that she might not like, but she knows are going to happen. So if you have planets or points in the early degrees of Leo, early degrees of Aquarius, early degrees of Taurus, early degrees of Scorpio, of the fixed signs, you are really feeling the struggle of choice points here. And when you're in the tension, it's the worst. But this is part of what we're moving through into August. Because Venus is here opposing Pluto. Then we're going to see Jupiter enter Leo, oppose Pluto. In July, the Sun enters Leo and opposes Pluto. And then eventually in about mid-August, Mercury enters Leo and opposes Pluto. So even though each planet is going to be interacting with Uranus in Gem and Neptune in Aries, it's this opposition to Pluto that's going to be the most intense. It's occurring at 4 and 5 degrees. And it's where the Leo energies in your chart are being permanently rearranged, collapsing. Removals are happening that you're not choosing, that you're fighting against, maybe denying or resisting, but that would be futile. It could be 4 areas, 4 things, 5 things, 5 things, because it would be Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, the Sun, and the Moon every month. So all these planets are coming in to oppose Pluto, and that means the early degrees of Leo in your chart are undergoing big, fiery changes against one's will, but ultimately for a higher purpose and a future vision or future dream. So this is your heads up about what's to come in that area of your chart, because I think it's important to mention as we look at all of these energies and how it's all playing out. So back to the Gemini new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini in your chart. Again, this can help you with that decision making of what is worth your time, focus, and attention. There can be a reset here mentally. And again, how can you clear out things that are no longer good for you, no longer serving you? Make sure that you're in control of your mind and your thoughts, that you are practicing more mindfulness, and also bringing in more boundaries around what is worth your communications, your interactions, and sharing. So there we are in the middle of June. I hope this has helped you understand whatever might be unfolding in your own life. As always, I appreciate your comments below. It's so great to hear how you're feeling these energies. I also appreciate all of your thoughts on what is going on here in June. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing this video with others who could benefit from it as well. I'll be back soon with another chart video, and we will close out June with a Capricorn full moon. So I will have that one up for you next. Take good care, and I'll see you back here soon.